Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Apologize for being late. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, The Science of God, Chapter 6, Prahlad instructs his demoniac schoolmates. We're doing text 20 to 23. Narayanam namaskritya ram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire nashtaprayashva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatutam shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Paravareshu Bhuteshu Pramantastavradishu Bautikeshu Vikareshu Bhuteshwata Mahatsucha Guneshu gunasamye cha gunavyati tata eka eva paro hyatma bhagavan ishvaro vyayaha pratyak atma swarupena drishya rupena cha swayam vyapya vyapaka nirdeshyo Desho Vikalpitaha Kevalanupavaananda Swarupa Parameshwaraha Mayanta Hitaishwarya Iyate Gunaswar Sargaya. Would anyone like to try to read these 3 verses?
Paraveshu Bhuteshu Brahmantastavarādishu Bhotikeshu Vikareshu Bhuteshvata Mahatsucha Guneshu Gunasamyecha Guna Vyati Kare Tata Eka Eva Paro Hyatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Vyayaha Pratyag Atma Swarupena Drishya Rupena Cha Swayam Vapya Vyapaka Nirdeshyo Yanirdeshyo Vikalpitaha Kevalanu Bhavananda Swarupa Parameshwaraha Mayayantar Hitaishvarya Yate Gunasvargaya.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else?
Paravareshu bhuteshu brahmantastavarādishu bhautikeshu vikareshu bhuteshvata mahatsucha guneshu gunasamye cha gunavyati kare tata eka eva paro hyatma bhagavan ishvaro vyayaha pratyagatma swarupena drishyarupena cha swayam vyapya vyapaka nirdeshyo Shanirdesho Vikalpita Kevalanubhavananda Swarupa Parameshvara Mayayanta Hitaishvarya Yate Gunasargaya.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else? Para avareshu, in exalted or hellish conditions of life. Bhuteshu, in the living beings. Brahma Anta, ending with Lord Brahma. Sthavara Adishu, beginning with the non-moving forms of life, the trees and plants. Bhautikeshu, of the material elements. Vikareshu, in the transformations. Bhuteshu, in the 5 gross elements of material nature. Ata, moreover, Mahatsu in the Mahat Tattva, the total material energy. Cha also, Guneshu in the modes of material nature. Gunasamye in an equilibrium of material qualities. Cha and Gunavyatikare in the uneven manifestation of the modes of material nature. Tata as well. Ekaha, one. Eva, only. Paraha, transcendental. He, indeed. Atma, the original source. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvaraha, the controller. Avyayaha, without deteriorating. Pradyak, inner. Atma Swarupena, by his original constitutional position as the Supersoul. Drishya Rupena, by his invisible forms. Cha also, Swayam personally. Vyapya, pervaded. Vyapaka, or pervading. Nirdeshayaha, to be described. He, certainly. Anirdeshaha, not to be described because of fine, subtle existence. Avikalpitaha, without differentiation. Excuse me. Kevala, only. Anubhava Ananda Swarupaha, whose form is blissful and full of knowledge. Parama Ishvaraha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Ruler. Mayaya, by Maya, the illusory energy. Antarhita, covered. Aishvaryaha, whose unlimited opulence. Iyate is mistaken as Gunasargaya, the interaction of the material modes of nature. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, who is infallible and indefatigable, is present in different forms of life, from the inert living beings, Stavara, such as the plants, to Brahma, the foremost created living being. He is also present in the varieties of material creations and in the material elements, the total material energy, and the modes of material nature, Sattva guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, as well as the unmanifested material nature and the false ego. Although he is one, he is present everywhere, and he is also the transcendental supersoul, the cause of all causes, who is present as the observer in the cause of the hearts of living entities. He's indicated as that which is pervaded and as the all-pervading supersoul. But actually, he cannot be indicated. He is changeless and undivided. He is simply perceived as a supreme Satchit Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Being covered by the curtain of the external energy, to the atheist, he appears non-existent. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Not only is the Supreme Personality of Godhead present as a supersoul of all living entities at the same time, he pervades everything in the entire creation. He exists in all circumstances and at all times. He exists in the heart of Lord Brahma and also in the cause of the hearts of the hogs, dogs, trees, plants, and so on. He is present everywhere. He is present not only in the heart of the living entity, but also in material things, even in the atoms, protons, and electrons being explored by material scientists. The Lord is present in three features, as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Because he is present everywhere, he is described as Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Vishnu exists beyond Brahman. Bhagavad Gita confirms that Krishna, by his Brahman feature, is all-pervading. Maya tatam idam sarvam. But Brahman depends upon Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Without Krishna, there could be no existence of Brahman or Paramatma. Therefore, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the ultimate realization of the Absolute Truth. Although he is present as a Paramatma in the core of everyone's heart, he is nonetheless one, either as an individual or as the all-pervading Brahman. The Supreme Cause is Krishna, and devotees who have surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can realize him and his presence within the universe and within the atom. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. This realization is possible only for devotees who are fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. For others, it is not possible. This is confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7:40. Devi hiya esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etang tarantite. The process of surrender in a devotional attitude is accepted by a fortunate living being. After wandering, excuse me. After wandering through many varieties of life on many planetary systems, when one comes to the real understanding of the absolute truth by the grace of a devotee, one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanavan Mang Papadyate. Prahlad Maharaja's class friends, who were born of Daitya families, thought that realizing the Absolute was extremely difficult. Indeed, we have experienced that many people say this very thing. Actually, however, this is not so. The Absolute, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is most intimately related to all living entities. Therefore, if one understands the Vaishnava philosophy, which explains how he is present everywhere and how he acts everywhere, to worship the Supreme Lord or to realize him is not at all difficult. Realization of the Lord, however, is possible only in the association of devotees. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his teachings to Rupa Goswami, said, Pramanda Pramite Gona Bhagyavan Jiva, Gura Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. The living entity in the material condition wanders through many varieties of life and many varieties of circumstances. But if he comes in contact with a pure devotee and is intelligent enough to take instructions from the pure devotee regarding the process of devotional service, he can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin of Brahman and Paramatma, without difficulty. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya says, Antaryami Pratyag Atma Vyapta Kalo Harismitaha Prakritya Tamasa Vritatvat Harir Aishwaryam Nagayate. The Lord is present as Antaryami in everyone's heart and is visible in the individual soul. Excuse me. Covered by a body. Indeed, he is everywhere at every time in every condition. But because he is covered by the curtain of material energy, to an ordinary person, there appears to be no God. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitangena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nivishesha Shnuvari Paschatya Shatarne. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Paravareshu Bhuteshu Pramantasthavarādishu Bhautikeshu Kareshu Bhuteshwata Mahatsucha Guneshu Gunasamyecha Gunavyatikare Tata Eka Eva Parohyatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Yaha Pratyag Atma Swarupena Drishya Rupena Cha Swayam Vyapya Vyapaka Nirdesho Hya Nirdesho Vikalpitaha Kevalanubhavan Pavananda Swarupa Parameshwaraha Maya Yanta Hitaishwarya Iyate Gunaswargaya. So Prahlad Maharaj is continuing his instruction on Sambandha Gyan, knowledge about the eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada has, so the circumstance is that these are 5-year-old boys, same age as Prahlad. They are born in Daitya families. And the society they live in is that Prahlad Maharaj's father, Hiranyakashipu, is God. Not only is this a localized conception of who the Supreme Controller is, but actually it's everywhere. It's throughout the entire universe. Prahlad Maharaj's father has taken over control, not just a military coup of the heavenly planets, but he is actually by his order, the heating, cooling, lighting of the entire universe is taking place. All the core functions of the universe is taking place by his order and power. He had achieved Kama Vashaita Siddhi. And this power, this mystic power is so incredible that you can run an entire universe, just like Brahma. He is the Adikavi, the original intellectual of this universe. His intelligence is so expansive that he can create a system for actually governing the entire universe. So Hiranyakashipu has all the Ashta cities, all the primary cities, and the topmost of the Skamavashaita city. So in this kind of society, then yes, there's just the evidence is overwhelming that Hiranyakashipu is actually he's the all-pervading one. So these are the circumstances that Prahlad Maharaj is instructing his demonic school friends. Very, very difficult to actually see how can there be anything else. 5-year-old body, everywhere is just Hiranyakashipu's glories being chanted. And your natural tendency is the tendency of the Daityas is to see Vishnu as the enemy. That's the creed of the society, of their culture, of their way of life. But as we heard yesterday, in yesterday's verse, is that even though it's difficult, it's actually very straightforward. So this is the mercy of the Lord, that this Sambandha Gyan, if you actually begin with Bhagavan realization, you can penetrate however thick a covering can be, even if it's as thick as an entire universe. So we know in the third canto, or it might be the fifth canto, the structure of the universe is described, and the layers. So there's the earth element, which is quite thick, and then 10 times thicker than that is the fire element, then it's the air element, then it's the ethereal one. So all these elements are just covering the entire universe, and this is the shell that actually covers the universe. So with that kind of visual in one's mind, one can see, and to get to the edge of the universe is a great distance, right? So similarly, in the society run by Hiranyakashipu, the covering was just very deep, and also one's body. These the friends of Prahlad Maharaj, they are natural enemies of the Lord. They are cultured in that way to actually see Vishnu as an enemy. Very, very thick. But the mercy of the Lord is so penetrating that the Lord never forsakes us. So there might be, that English expression that this is a God-forsaken place. No, Krishna never forsakes any place. And to penetrate that is there's a quality of Krishna as Suhrit Sarva Bhutanam. So he's the best friend of living entities. Here Prahlad Maharaj is describing how deep this friendship is. So this friendship here, the living entity is wandering from one body to the next, even from plants, trees, right up to Brahma. And yet the super soul is actually present. So there's no question of, even though Hiranyakashipu has taken over, he's seemingly all pervading, but he can never unseat the super soul from the heart of the living entity. Yeah, there's no mystic power that can enable a living entity to do that. And this is the yoga of the Supreme Lord. This is one core aspect of Sambandha Gyan, is that Krishna, he's Yogeshwara. So he's the master of all yoga power. And to actually be the friend of all living entities, it's an incredible power. We can think to ourselves, okay, how many devotees have we met in our entire practice of devotional service? Even before devotional service, how many people have we met? And we're still maintaining intimate touch with them, intimate contact with them. We're talking to them. Usually, our ability to stay connected is proximity based. And having having immigrated to the US, I can see that this ability to actually stay in touch with a lot of people all at once that you've met, very, very difficult. But with Krishna, he can actually do that. Yeah. Just consider, everybody on this call here has given up, has changed their life, all because they have heard. It's only based on hearing. You have just heard Krishna's holy name. You have heard it from the lips of a pure devotee. And you have just heard that Krishna is actually the Supreme Lord and that he's your friend. You have just heard this. Yeah. Right? But very few persons, they might be on this call, but very few persons have actually spoken to Krishna. Actually had one-on-one conversation. Just like, I don't know if there's somebody who has, who can have a WhatsApp conversation with Krishna. But simply by chanting his holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can actually experience this. And this is the self-evident truth that propels one's persistence in trying to actually cultivate and reawaken one's friendship and relationship with Krishna. Is that because Krishna, he's not different from his name, you can actually experience this. It's self-evidently true. For all practicing devotees, they can feel, yes, despite my coverings, despite having been born in a meat-eating family, despite having started late in Krishna, hearing about Krishna, beyond my teen years, some even later in life, still just a very short time of chanting Hare Krishna, you can actually experience self-evidently for yourself that yes, Krishna is actually my best friend. And so this is how Prahlad Maharaj is beginning his teachings, is that the relationship that you have with the Lord is so intimate that there's no amount of material covering that can extinguish it. All you simply have to do is just chant his name. That's all. Yeah, it's that simple. So even for these young school friends of Prahlad, even for us, simply by chanting his holy name, we can actually reawaken this. So this Bhagavan realization, the aspect of Krishna, or everything resting, Krishna's omnipotence, right? So here there's his omniscience is being described, that he's spread everywhere. His omnipotency is that he is controlling everything. So these aspects might not be readily understood, right? But if you actually just surrender to him, right? So with your senses, so the senses have a limited range. So if you just surrender to Krishna by chanting his name, surrender to him by just thinking of him, surrender to him by offering your obeisances unto him. So even though those activities, they seemingly have a localized aspect, they can't perceive the Lord's omnipresence, how he's actually, like if you haven't studied, if you haven't done cosmology and studied how planets are moving, if you haven't studied, basically physics, I guess the one could say is that physics, the study of physics, is what is how forces are actually causing the movement of fundamental forces in the universe, how they're actually causing the movement, right? Of bodies, of planets, of just different things that can be conceived. And if you haven't gotten to the end of that study, which really is to understand how siddhis work, how mystic power actually works, and you haven't yourself cultivated those siddhis. So, for example, celebrated scientists like like Einstein and Feynman and Oppenheimer, uh, they are glorified in modern day society because of their study produced technologies that everybody can take advantage of, right? Uh, so the greatest physicists are actually yogis, because yogis, the kind of technology that they can produce, like Hiranyakashipu, is actually how to control everything. Right? So if you haven't, if your knowledge, the knowledge that you've accumulated, isn't on that level of just understanding siddhis or physics on the level of siddhis, still, just by simply offering your homage unto Krishna, remembering him in all circumstances, um, you can actually you can get to the topmost understanding that Krishna, actually everything rests on Krishna. So yes, and so this is why Prahlad Maharaj is actually able to instruct his friends about the Sambandhi Gyan of the Lord, the yoga power of the Lord, how the Lord is triple O, omnipresent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent. So he's starting with his omnibenevolence. And this is the feature of the Bhagavan realization of the Lord. That actually the Lord, he's Bhaktavatsala. Um, he protects his devotees like a cow protects its calf. The mother cow is always anxious to keep the calf very close. At Gita Nagari, we were fortunate enough to see Mohini and Shanti and their relationship. So I got to see Shanti. She was born on the farm. So when we basically every year, Dhruva Prabhu's program, as you know, his adopt a cow program is about six. We rescue like three grown-up cows and then calves as well. So typically, and then when the cows come, when you rescue them, then after 3 months, so basically the first month, first week, the procedures will get the vet then to come, and they will just do like a diagnostic test, just check up of the cow. So these cows are coming from another farm. If I remember correctly, was it Cedar Grove or Pine Grove? And yeah, this is a brown Swiss. This farmer has been keeping brown Swiss cows for 5 generations in his family. And so we would get the cows from him. And when the cows would come, then the vet would come, and then she would The vet would just do a checkup, and then 3 months later, they would do a pregnancy test, right? Because sometimes, he couldn't confirm if they were pregnant or not, because the fetus might not be so developed. So he would do his check first, but then this is the farmer, but then we would have to do our own check. So most of the times the cows, when they come, they're not pregnant, right? So we would rescue a calf separately. This is the program. So these calves weren't always related. Most of the time they weren't related to the cows that were being rescued. And unfortunately, they separated at birth. But every time we would have the calves would be in their own barn, and then the cows would go to their barn. And when the cows would walk into the milking barn, then they would see the calves. And, out of curiosity, the older cows would, be mooing to the calves, and the calves would be mooing back at them. But they just had a natural tendency to want to get close to these calves, right? So in the case of Mohini, she was actually pregnant. So when they did the pregnancy test 3 months later, she was actually pregnant with Shanti. So I got to actually see the process. So when she came out, how close they were. And at that time, we had the batch of students, the first batch of students who actually started the farm study program. And it was the fall. And everybody was just like mesmerized by, the cuteness of Shanti, how small she was. And, Mohini was there with Shanti. And she was just always anxious to like keep Shanti close, So we would have to, in terms of milking her, she produced a lot of milk. And even though it was, unfortunately, when Shanti was born, she was actually born with a twin. So unfortunately, the twin didn't make it. So that was a boy calf. Unfortunately, he didn't survive. So he was stillborn. But Shanti came out, and she was healthy. And so it wouldn't be too difficult to get her into the barn because her milk bag was so full. So she was producing, even though Shanti had full access to drinking her mother's milk the whole day. She was drinking to her heart's content. But Mohini was like producing in excess of what we would get daily. We would be getting 70 pounds of milk. Okay. So in gallons, how much is that? Let's see. Okay, it's 8 gallons of milk. So Shanti was drinking, and yet Mohini was producing in excess of 8 gallons of milk every single day. And so Mohini was like producing like for twins, so much milk she was producing. And the relationship was very intimate, very close. And so unfortunately, Mohini then developed a condition in her stomach. So she had a twisted intestine. And it like cows are very tolerant. So it was actually a painful condition, but Mohini wasn't actually showing any symptoms of pain or discomfort. When she did show it, this was pretty too late. It was so twisted that she couldn't like stand up. She was like kicking out her stomach. We called in the vet, Dr. Jim Lowhead. And, so this happened in the morning when she started showing the discomfort. And then by the afternoon, she was like, she couldn't stand up. And poor Shanti, she was just trying to stay close to her mother the entire time. So then Dhruva Prabhu rushed her to the hospital in Philadelphia. And then, they tried to they took her into surgery, tried to save her life. But yeah, unfortunately, she didn't make it. So seeing the closeness of that relationship, and even though Mohini was, sick and, she couldn't stand up and a lot of discomfort and pain. But that relationship persisted, very, very close, so much so that she was her blood, because the cow is a transformation of her blood, the milk of a cow is a transformation of her blood. She was producing so much milk for Shanti, and so this is Krishna. This is Bhaktavatsala Krishna. Krishna he gives so much. And it's in this experience of the affection of the Lord, that's where you actually get to see how the Lord is controlling everything, how he's pervading everything. So for us, even though most of us here, we don't have, as I said, advanced knowledge of physics, of chemistry, of just even Sankhya yoga system, just how everything is actually taking place from an analytical point of view. Yet it's not very difficult to accept that yes, the Lord is actually all pervading, and he is present everywhere. We see it in our daily life. We are seeing it through this intimate relationship. So the Sambandha Gyan that Prahlad Maharaj is giving to his friends, it's through the lens of his intimate relationship with the Lord. So for Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord is everywhere because he's just he's a caring father. And you can even see in Mother Leela Kishori's profile picture, Krishna having his forehead against the grown cow. This is how intimate the relationship is. Yeah. So we should always see the application for us is that, and Prabhupada here he's saying, okay, just a moment, just gotta find it. Okay. Realization of the Lord, however, is possible only in the association of devotees. So for us, the omnipresence, omnipotent, omnipotency of the Lord, we have to see it in the association of devotees. So this is our realization, just as Bhagavan realization, Paramatma realization rests on Bhagavan realization. The maintenance of that realization for us, as I said, who don't have all this analytical knowledge of the Lord, it rests on the quality of the association with other devotees. So we have to see the Lord present in the hearts of all devotees. We have to see the Lord as a very intimate friend of a devotee. We have to see the Lord that yes, if I actually give my best to this other devotee, then this is very pleasing to the Lord. So there might be a pre-existing issue, pre-existing problem. Still, we have to show up in that way. That because this other devotee actually has a very intimate relationship with the Lord, I need to actually treat them similarly with respect, with honor, with due praise. So yesterday was a very auspicious day, and tomorrow is an even more auspicious day. So let's see how these devotees, through their realization, these very exalted devotees in our history, these very intimate associates of the Lord in our history, how their realization of Bhagavan, their realization of Krishna's Bhaktavatsala, actually was the heart of their devotion. And they had a lot of expansive, just realization of the Lord and how he pervades everything. Okay, so yesterday, I think Ramananda Gauranga Prabhu posted that was Vashanti Panchami. And this day is about offering leaves. So on the 5th day of the waxing moon, one should celebrate the coming of spring to Vrindavan by offering Krishna many types of leaves and flowers and fresh fruits of sprouting grasses, things that symbolize life and new growth. There's also Saraswati Puja. So we've been reading about Kashmiri, Keshava Kashmiri, the Digvijay, the Pandit who had conquered in all directions, champion poet, and that pastime with Lord Chaitanya Nimai conquering him. And in that pastime, Keshava Kashmiri had a very intimate relationship with Mother Saraswati. So Saraswati, she's the goddess of learning. Her father is none other than the Adikavi himself, Lord Brahma. And so, because he was an intimate worshipper of Mother Saraswati, every time he would speak, Mother Saraswati herself, the personified goddess of learning, would actually appear on his tongue. And he just had full command of basically just the Vedas. He just knew everything. And so Nimai Pandit actually asked him of how he should glorify the Ganges. And he went on for, I think, 2 hours, just verse after verse, 100 verses he composed on the spot, improv, Sanskrit, and he was just going on and on and on, just glorifying. And yet the Lord was able to pick out a discrepancy in his poetry. Nobody had ever done this, because most people can't even understand what he's saying because it's so intricate. So you can, this was the extent of the Lord, and the conclusion of the pastime, the extent of the knowledge of the Lord. And the conclusion of the pastime was that Mother Saraswati was actually didn't appear on his tongue and covered his intelligence. He wasn't actually able to reply to Nimai Pandit's objections. So yes, we can, on this day, which was yesterday, Saraswati Puja, worship of the goddess, you can remember Lord Chaitanya, and as you know, the defeat of this Digvijay, the champion poet. And so for devotees, even though they can't be, as I said, have full command of just Sanskrit literary devices to be able to glorify the Lord, simply by remembering the prayers, the teachings of the great devotees in our line. Yes, you can actually you can please the Lord a lot. Yesterday was also the appearance day of Srimati Vishnu Priya. She was the Lord's consort. It was a disappearance of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, appearance day of Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who Lord Chaitanya referred to him as father, because he was an expansion of Srimati Radharani's father. It was also the appearance of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and the appearance of Sri Raghunandan Thakur. So these are great devotees who demonstrated that the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, that actually everything depends on the Bhagavan realization. And we should always remember that Krishna is everywhere. So whatever we do, we should do it as an offering to Krishna. And we should do it out of love, out of affection, because Krishna is with us right now as we speak, wherever you, as you listen, wherever you are, he's with you because he wants to be with you. He just likes being with you. Uh, that's how intimate, the relationship is. And so spending some quality time, 2 hours a day, uh, just hearing his holy name and just giving it that focus, it's actually very little. That's all Krishna is asking for. It's not that much. Um, so when we do it, we should really just be fully present. Sachinandan Maharaj gives nice japa techniques in his book, The Living Name. He's got a SoundCloud. On his SoundCloud, there's a playlist where he's describing the different techniques on how to actually improve us being present. So we might not be omnipresent like Krishna. We might not be omnipotent like Krishna, but definitely the little potency that we have uh, in our senses with our intelligence, the omnipresent, and the yeah so we can just be fully present. So even though it's all local, but we should just be fully present with the omnipresent one, right? So we should do it with out of affection for the one who is omnibenevolent. So as part and parcels of the triple O Krishna, omnipresent, omnibenevolent, and omniscient one, Sachinanda Maharaj gives us very nice techniques on how to exercise those tiny potencies that we too have and in our japa. So tomorrow is the auspicious appearance of Advaita Acharya. And also a lot of snow. Yeah, 4 to 8 inches of snow. So, so we can, as we know, Advaita Acharya brought about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya through Utkirtan, loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this Utkirtan, which the six Goswamis of Vrindavan also perform, chanting very loudly, it drowns out uh, all distractions, and we can just simply give Krishna that focus. Yes. So so we have a lot of content to absorb our minds um, in in reading about the wonderful auspiciousness that the appearance of Advaita Acharya brings, the wonderful life of these devotees who appeared yesterday. Um, and we can just absorb our minds in Krishna as Lord Chaitanya, Krishna as Advaita Acharya, uh, Krishna as the intimate father of Prahlad Maharaj. Uh, this Krishna has a very intimate relationship with everyone, and so we can pray. How can we um, every day just feel more and more Krishna's unlimited affection for us? Hare Krishna. Are there any questions, reflections, or contentions? Appreciation from Mother Leela Kishori, she's appreciating the practical and simple instructions to advance in Krishna consciousness. And she's saying it's contagious. Well, thank you, Ma. Really appreciate your daily association on the Zoom stream, and hopefully we can see you soon. Appreciation from Yashodev Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for your constant encouragement. Really appreciate you. If there's nothing else, okay. Yeah, so today we're having our community meeting. So if you're in the neighborhood, please join us. It'll be taking place at the Jamil Prabhu's place, Jamil Prabhu's home at 124. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Pramanande Haribo.